Raise your hand if you have a tattoo. I'm just curious. Okay, when we first connected, and I knew what your speech was going to be about being more open-minded after 50, and then you put after that it was going to be your story of how you got your first tattoo after 50. And so I was really looking forward to reading it hearing your speech, because I don't have a tattoo, and I'm probably one of my only friends who don't have one. And I have all the same reasons for not getting one that you mentioned. What if I don't like it later, or I'm just too chicken, basically, is probably the word to get one. And so I was really anxious to see it after that. And I think you had two stories to explain why you got one. And I thought you told both the stories very well. The first story, your after watermelon game that your dad did, and just hearing the story, it sounded so much like something my dad would have us do when we were growing up. And I love that you know how to go left like the same way I do. That's good to see. But I loved that you told that story very well, and it was a great way to introduce the clover. The second speech was about how you met your husband, how you picked him out at the other side of the bar, and that you took a little bit of persistence to get your first date with him. And so I love that. You had a really good job of telling that story too. So both the stories, you told the stories really well, they connected really well, and they told your reason for getting your tattoo. What you wanted me to watch for is you wanted me to make sure that you had a great pace, you felt really relaxed. This is your first speech that you've given in a while, and I don't think anyone would have thought that. You had very good body language, very good control of the group, and told both the stories very well. Didn't seem nervous at all. Had very good pauses throughout the whole story. So when I teach, or when I train, I was a teacher before I became a trainer. And so I always use words like homework, and I give grades to my clients. And so I'll say when they come back, how'd you do this week? Or, okay, so if you didn't pass, then how can you do better next week? And so if I was grading your speech, I'd give you an A. And so now I got a tough job of figuring out how can you make it better. And so I've been thinking, and so things I could think of, I really think both of the two stories tell why you got a tattoo very well. But I think maybe the second part of it could be a little bit, you could have a couple more lines in there about how meeting your husband now, how that fits with finding the clover, how you picked him out from beside the crowd, how he stood out from you from everybody else. There was something special about him, like a 4-leaf clover. So something like that you could put in there. Or maybe another one would be at the end, how your mindset has changed now when you see someone with a tattoo. Like now when you see someone with a tattoo, you think of how great a story they must have. And so I think that's a good way. I think that's the lesson you learned, is that now you see something a lot different as a tattoo. And even though yours is small on your wrist, it has a huge story attached to it. And so if I ever get a tattoo, that would be something mine would be. It would be something about overcoming obstacles or something like that. And so maybe after hearing that, I'll have the guts to get one myself. Thank you.